What is that?
Noticed anything strange in the sky lately? If you answered yes, you're not alone.
We have an active member of the military telling us that they have UFO sightings all the time. Come check this out.
That's insane.
Is there any logical explanation what that thing is?
No. There are things the government does not share with us.
The site of a secret government project.
It's just a huge mystery.
Some of it are things we have a right to know.
Mira, ya se bajó más rápido, ¿ya viste?
These guys sound scared.
Now I want to know, is my family safe? Is our planet safe?
We have to find the answers ourselves. There's something going on.
This is uncharted territory.
It doesn't look normal to me what's happened here.
These phenomena are obviously the result of a high technical skill that cannot be credited by any presently known culture on Earth. This is a declassified top secret Air Force document admitting on the record that they are seeing possible extraterrestrials in our sky.
And look, this is only one of tens of thousands of documents recently declassified. This is a limitless trove of information that may change everything.
ATIP, Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program. Since I first heard about that program, I became obsessed with it. It was a bombshell. Why would the government do that? Why would they invest that money? Why would they invest that effort? As a guy who spent his life handling government secrets, there's only one reason. Because they thought there was something to investigate.
Mike Cole is a 16-year intelligence veteran with the FBI, DIA, and CIA, who was on the team that dismantled Osama bin Laden's terrorist network.
I led the intelligence effort at a fusion cell in Baghdad. I was responsible for bringing together all of these disparate pieces of intelligence so that we could hunt down terrorists. I solved puzzles. So now that the ATIP program is revealed, I'm going to get to the truth, however the data takes me.
My gosh, so interesting.
As part of the ATIP program, a series of videos captured by U.S. military were released.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
To date, the Pentagon has revealed no explanation for these objects.
What really fascinates me about this ATIP material is so much of it's military, and they don't know what they're seeing.
Joining Mike in the command center is Dr. Michael Livingston, professor at the Citadel and expert on conflict analysis.
What I do is I try and understand how one nation invades another. What we're looking at here in this investigation is that exact same thing, but at a galactic kind of scale.
We just happen to be alive at a time when we have this incredible intersection of data and technology that positions us to answer a question that nobody has been able to answer before. We're going to take a radical, totally new and comprehensive approach. We're bringing together billions of data points, individual sightings, to social media posts, to declassified government reports, and use big data technology to find the truth.
The team is armed with powerful link analysis software developed for the CIA. Every existing declassified government file, photo, social media post, and eyewitness account from around the world is converted into billions of pieces of searchable data that the software analyzes to reveal hidden connections and patterns never before seen.
So it's not just a search engine, it's an intelligence engine, which could be the key to answer that question. Are extraterrestrials making contact with Earth, or is it something else?
How about this 2004 Nimitz report we got?
Yeah.
This next hit. Let's open it up. We are going to use the same methodology here that I use in my conflict analysis. So before we can determine whether extraterrestrials have contacted mankind, we must first eliminate terrestrial technology as a source for what we see happening in our airspace. And the 2004 Nimitz incident is the best evidence we have to begin to answer that question.
Look at this. It's incredible.
It is absolutely, there it goes.
Look at that.
In 2004, The USS Nimitz aircraft carrier was stationed off the coast of San Diego, California, when one of the ship's fighter jets engaged a strange object in the sky, capturing footage of the incident on its infrared camera.
This is not some crazy person with their cell phone on Instagram, right? This is a $15 billion aircraft carrier with its radar systems, everything state of the art. What is that?
At this point, there's one main witness who's been talking about this, Commander David Fravor. He's on one of those first FA-18s that goes out and actually encounters something.
So as we get to about here, about 12 o'clock, is about the time I start pulling my nose onto it. At about here, it goes, and it's gone. My backseater has to go down there, and he's debriefing this, and they're, you know, Men in Black comes out. They start, you know, his jokes about Men in Black, signs, Independence Day.
The pilot of that F-18A, he's been on 8 different news channels. He has given the exact same testimony. We need new information. Fravor has done that interview again and again and again, right? You know, this is the guy who likes to talk.
Yeah.
We need to find the guy whose story hasn't been on every news outlet, who can answer the question, is what we saw in that video evidence of something extraterrestrial operating in our airspace?
You got it.
The link analysis software digs through millions of declassified military documents to uncover senior personnel that had a high probability of serving at the time of the Nimitz incident.
Pull up that declassified Air Force document.
Roger that. Kevin Mark Day.
Supervisory Air Intercept Controller, 9 years on that system.
And this is the guy on that radar that day.
Where's he located?
Oregon.
All right, let's get a team on the ground in Oregon.
I think it's fair to say that throughout human history, people have been looking up and wondering, are we alone?
The first field team lands in Cave Junction, Oregon, and heads to the home of Senior Chief Kevin Day.
We actually have imagery and video from military aircraft, which is very compelling.
Nick Carnesi spent 5 years in the elite Marine Special Operations as an on-the-ground intelligence officer.
I'm versed in reading people, understanding if these people are telling us the truth, and understanding the reports that come from those interviews to actually get more answers as opposed to pure speculation.
Nick is joined by Sarah Cruddas, a world-renowned space journalist with a background in astrophysics who has spent her career traveling the world to investigate what lies beyond Earth.
The idea of extraterrestrial life is the most profound question we've ever asked as a species. And for the first time ever, we're actually able to get the science and the information together to try and answer this fundamental question. Is this it?
Aloha.
Hey, Kevin.
Hi.
I'm
Kevin
Nick.
Day.
Great to meet you, Nick Carnesi. So before we get started, do you mind if I film?
Not at all.
Cool. There we go. So Kevin, at the time of the Nimitz incident, what was your role on board ship?
Anti-air warfare coordinator, trying to protect the strike group and protect Navy assets. We were off the coast of San Diego, about 70 miles, the entire strike group. We went out there primarily to do individual ship training. I started noticing these really anomalous tracks, unlike nothing I'd ever seen before. And these objects were coming into my radar coverage. There was probably 10 objects in the sky.
10.
Wow. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, I want to intercept one of these things. And so I launched an intercept aircraft. He started making the approach to this object, and that's when everything changed. Well, this thing did a barrel roll around his aircraft.
Really?
Then went straight down to the surface of the ocean. He went following it down, and as soon as he went like that, this thing popped straight back out of the water, back up to 28,000 feet.
What? Did it make a sound?
No, it's completely quiet. You know, something going that fast, it's gonna sound like boom, 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 boom. It's gonna have a whole bunch of sonic booms. No sonic booms.
Can you talk us through the technology that you witnessed?
If you can imagine a 47-foot-long Tic Tac, they didn't have any wings, they didn't have any propulsion system. They could travel from point A to point B in a matter of a second, even though it was miles and miles and miles away. And if anything biological would have been in that thing, given Newtonian physics, classical physics, it would have turned you into mush. There's no way you could withstand that type of G-force. I think the human body can withstand about 8 Gs. This thing had 1,350 Gs. You'd have been paste.
It literally gives me chills listening to this.
I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary. The fact that we have military personnel that witnessed multiple objects, and not only were they eyewitnesses personally, but we have it on official DoD video, it doesn't get better than that.
How does it make you feel to have seen something like this, which after all these years you still can't identify?
It makes me concerned, because if these things would have been hostile, I may not even be here right now. They totally had every advantage on us.
Without a doubt, in my mind, I know that there's something in our skies, and that's pretty heavy. That's serious. I mean, is this a threat? Can we prevent against it? We absolutely need to find out what else is out there.
They could travel from point A to point B in a matter of a second, unlike nothing I'd ever seen before.
1,350 Gs, that's over 100,000 miles an hour.
That's insane. There's something else that I think is really interesting that we're getting out of this. He says there's no sound, and it makes sense that he's not hearing a sound.
Yeah, he's in a closed radar room 3 decks below in the middle of an aircraft carrier.
Right, but there should be a sound. Something moving that fast through our air makes sound.
A very big sound. But our atmosphere is a substance, and that substance acts against objects moving through it. Look at our own space shuttle. When it enters our atmosphere, it makes a truly loud boom. And it's only moving at 17,000 miles an hour.
If craft are moving through our atmosphere at these extraordinary speeds, sound could be the key to tracking them.
Right.
So let's get on the link analysis software and search for abnormal sounds that are coming from the sky, because that's the key.
Yeah, let's take a look.
All right. Punching in bang, roar, buzz.
And connected to UFO sightings from all around the world.
Okay. Let's see what we get.
Getting a lot.
It's a lot of data, man.
Okay.
Results. Oh. We've got odd noises from around the world.
We'll start with Moscow.
All right. That is eerie. That's very strange. Hey, check this out. August 22nd, 2011. We have 5 abnormal sounds that are picking up on our results, all on the same day.
Huh. There's not more than one on any other day. This is a clear anomaly. What's Tampa Stadium? Is that a...
Yeah, it's a sports stadium. Capacity of around 30,000 people.
Can we pull it up?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that wind?
Look, I've got social media hits from people in that stadium, and they're wondering, yeah, is that wind? Somebody's wondering if it's a PA system.
Does not sound like PA feedback to me.
No, it doesn't sound like PA feedback at all.
That's a little strange.
Well, okay, if this is actually coming from the sky, that's going to be heard outside the stadium.
For sure.
What sort of radius?
20 miles.
Okay, so we've got a number of people reporting things. A couple of fan videos. Look at this one over here. Justin J. Same date.
Yeah.
St. Petersburg, Florida, a few miles away. Can anyone else hear that outside?
Outside. If this guy 5 miles away can corroborate that he heard the same sound, then we're looking at something bigger. Possibly that something not of this Earth is moving crazy fast through our atmosphere.
We're about 10 minutes away from Justin's place, and he's an ear witness to these sounds.
On the ground, Nick Carnesi, U.S. Marine Intelligence Officer, and astrophysicist and space journalist Sarah Cruddas investigate a pattern of unusual sounds erupting from the night sky on August 22, 2011.
He might be reluctant to be talking to us about this. A lot of people are kind of skittish when it comes to sensitive subjects like this.
They head to the home of Justin Jenkins, who claims to have heard strange sounds 5 miles from where audio phenomenon were also reported inside a Tampa Bay stadium the same night.
So here we are.
if the sound that was heard at the stadium is the same sound that Justin heard. We're on to something much bigger here.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Justin, tell us what happened on August 22nd, 2011.
Came home probably around 8 o'clock at night, and then I suddenly got a call from my neighbors saying, "You got to get out here. Like, something's going on." Stopped what I was doing, walked outside, and there was this huge sound. I don't even know if I can really call it loud.
What do you mean by huge, then?
It sounded like just this enormous piece of steel just rubbing across the ground, almost like a... but almost off in the distance.
Could you feel it?
Well, that's initially what I thought. Something this big of a sound, you'd feel vibration, you'd feel the ground moving, but there was nothing. It was still.
And could you get a sense of where it was coming from?
I got into my car and I tried to drive around to pinpoint exactly where it was coming from. And every time I got out of the car, it was everywhere. It was just all around us. And it seemed to be coming out of the sky.
Have you ever experienced anything like this?
There's all kinds of sounds around here. There's an Air Force base right across the bay. So we get jets flying over all the time. This was nothing like that. I've never heard anything like this.
Man, I wish we could hear it.
I know.
My neighbors, they were actually recording it with their camera phone. Downloaded it from the phone onto a zip drive.
Are you ready?
Ready?
This is the noise. What is that? I hope the video is picking it up.
And then it trails off there.
This is very compelling to me. This sounds exactly like the sound of the stadium. It's amazing. On top of that, we're over 5 miles away, so right away that rules out, any speaker malfunction inside the dome, any wind causing that.
It made me think, what's out there and what's close? Things that are right at our doorstep.
The fact that he was able to get a copy of that recording, that on itself could provide a lot of useful information.
But I feel like we can't hear it very well because there's a lot of background noise, so it'd be interesting to see maybe we can get like an expert in forensic acoustics and see if we can actually try and isolate the sound and figure out exactly what it is. Based on the recording, it doesn't seem to me like it's an aeroplane.
But who knows, maybe something abnormal was going on.
The team drives 10 miles across Tampa Bay to MacDill Air Force Base to investigate if it could have been the source of the mysterious sound.
So you must have some sort of idea of the type of planes which fly in and out of here.
Yeah, just basic standard military jets, nothing out of the ordinary. But who knows, it might be worth a shot just to see if we can talk with the public affairs officer.
Can you do that at this
Yeah,
time,
who
right?
knows, it's a long shot. I mean, we're here, right? Might as well give it a shot. All right. It's clear to me that Justin could have heard something from the base. To me, it's responsible of us to try to eliminate any possible connection to MacDill.
Oh. What happened?
So, I don't know if you saw those vehicles that just cruised past us.
Yeah.
But I think we might have attracted a little surveillance, especially since they just pulled back here on this one-way street. They're all just sitting back there, so I'm thinking, especially since it's getting late at night, we can call it.
Let's do it. I don't want to hang around, really, if that's happening, let's be honest.
Cool.
You ready?
Let's do it.
The team arrives at the Audio Forensics Lab in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida.
Hey, good afternoon.
Sarah, nice to meet you.
Hey, Ed, Nick.
They make contact with Ed Primo, a forensic audiologist who conducts audio analysis for local law enforcement and the FBI.
We need the best technology to dive deep into the waveform and give us an analysis and compare it to other things that they have on record and see if we can determine what it is or isn't.
This is Justin's recording. It's the full sound spectrum of what the phone recorded.
This is the noise. What is that?
This is actually the audio track. And what we're looking at here is a spectrogram. This colored area here that's brighter, that's our sound right there, the unknown sound.
Utilizing advanced algorithms, Ed's software isolates the audio waves associated with the unknown sound to create a digital fingerprint called a spectrogram.
So we got rid of the sounds that are distracting to your ear as you're trying to listen to a specific sound.
This is the noise. What is that?
It's very unique.
Now, the video that we have from the stadium, can we compare those two?
Yes, we can. So this is the stadium recording without the high frequencies. This is just our unknown sound. This is Justin's recording. And it's occurring between 100 hertz and 300 hertz. And when we look at the other recording,
it's the same frequency.
we see the same frequency, which is one of the reasons why I believe they're the same.
The spectrograph clearly shows that these two sounds, the one at the stadium and the one that Justin recorded, are the same sound. That's a big deal. There's obviously something coming from the night sky that we can't yet explain.
We can rule out an airplane, a train, anything that moves to create sound.
Ed runs the spectrogram of the unknown sound through a database of 10,000 spectrograms of natural and man-made sounds from Earth.
Planes, ambulance, fighter jets.
To determine if there is a match.
Wind is the only thing that I discovered that's similar. But then we can see that wind oscillates. It goes up and down in tonality. When we look at our sound, it's very narrow and very consistent along the bottom, between 300 and 100 hertz. And it's not oscillating. This is why I believe it's not wind.
So do you have any idea basically what it is?
It doesn't sound like anything that I've experienced before.
In how many years?
35 years I've been practicing.
So in 35 years of practicing, you've never heard something like this sound?
No.
This is giving me chills. This sound does not match any terrestrial sound. Like, let that sink in. Ed is an audio forensics expert who's been analyzing sounds for over 3 decades. And the fact that he doesn't know what caused this sound, I mean, if that doesn't motivate you to want to dig deeper, I don't know what will.
All right, let's pull up the waveform from the sound analysis.
Okay.
Mike Cole and Dr. Livingston review the findings from the field team in Florida. Their link analysis software uncovered a pattern of multiple strange, unknown sounds emanating from the night sky over St. Petersburg, Florida on August 22, 2011.
A forensic audiologist of decades of experience, 3 decades of experience, certifying that he has never heard anything, either man-made or natural, create this kind of sound. This is pretty exciting. We've shown through audio forensics that this is a sound without a natural explanation. This could be evidence that something not of this earth is moving through our skies.
Another thing, we got an update from Sarah and Nick in the field. They just interviewed Margie Blake. She claims to have seen strange objects in the sky on that same night. She lives just a few miles from the other reported activity in Florida.
It was August 22nd, 2011. These lights caught my eye. They were orange orbs. I'd probably say 50 to 60 total. They were coming down in groups, like circling each other, and they shot to the north and just totally disappeared.
That's amazing.
She's given us a really key piece of intel, a direction.
Right.
It went north.
Yeah.
So can we track that?
UFO,
right? Orbs,
lights, all on August 22nd in 2011, just
Right?
the United States.
Okay, here we go.
It's getting a lot. Okay. All right, so we have a lot of social media traffic. Look at this. weird orange lights flying by. Exact same language Margie used.
Lights above town.
Yep.
Random blinking lights. And look at this, right? When we track this on a map, it's like an arrow going north, just like Margie said, but it's stopping. Virginia.
All in a cluster in one location in Virginia. Where is that?
Waynesboro, Virginia.
What do we know about that town?
Not a very big town, about 20,000 people. Shenandoah Valley, old coal mining town. Look, I've got social media hits from people in this area.
Everyone come meet me and Abby in Waynesboro. There's UFOs in the sky right now. This guy, Andrew Santiago. Anyone else see these lights above town? Why do we have 8 sightings in a town of 20,000 people? We just went up the whole eastern seaboard. There's tons of lots more populous cities than that.
Very strange, and to have them all in this same moment, the same 24-hour period. But it could all be completely separate events, right?
Right.
This could be one event that's happening in St. Petersburg and a weather phenomenon that these people are seeing in Waynesboro.
Right, but if we can prove that it's connected, that's a big deal. We have so many people making social media posts in Waynesboro, surely we can find somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
We need to get Nick and Sarah out there.
Crazy, like 24 hours ago we were in Florida, and now we're in the mountains in Virginia, and the weather reminds me of home.
Nick and Sarah head to the home of local Waynesboro resident Andrew Santiago, who reported on social media seeing strange lights above town on the night of August 22nd.
The fact that we've had so many sightings that seem to one leads to another, that's very compelling to me. This might be this one right here.
Are these sightings in the small town of Virginia connected to this larger pattern we see moving up the East Coast? And if so, is this small town in Virginia where the answers lie?
Andrew?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Nick.
Hey.
May we come in?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I take out a camera and set it up?
That's fine.
Cool.
How did you guys happen to find me?
A lot of research.
So we've been looking into these events that occurred around the 22nd of August. That's why we're really curious to learn more about what you experienced.
I was living with my brother at the time, and him and his wife had just went to bed. I was playing video games. I was, getting a little tired, so I turned the TV off and got ready for bed. The room lit up, I didn't know what was going on, so I looked at the door to see if my brother had opened my door, and the door was still shut, and that's when I noticed that the light was coming through the blinds, like enough to light up the room to where as if it was daylight outside. And as soon as I get into the hallway, my brother and his wife are standing there. I said, "Did you see the light?" He was like, "Yeah, it was bright enough to wake us both up."
Are you sure it wasn't a dream?
Unless we was both dreaming the same dream. Our rooms are different sides of the house. It lit up both sides of the house at the same time.
So it was all encompassing light?
Yeah, directly above the house.
Have you seen shooting stars before?
Yeah, I see them a lot.
Do you think it could have been anything like that coming into the atmosphere?
I don't know what kind of sound they make when they come into the atmosphere. But I couldn't forget what it sounded like.
Really? What did it sound like?
And it was like a roaring, rumbling sound.
Was it kind of in the background?
Yeah, like in the distance, like way off.
That's interesting.
Andrew was describing both hearing something and seeing something. And his description is very similar to what we heard in Florida. I mean, this is huge. Now we have a clear connection here. For whatever reason, almost all roads lead to Waynesboro, and the question is why?
Do you guys think you know what it was?
We can't give you the answers just yet as to what it is, but we're going to help. Look at this amazing library.
The team has been granted access to the city archives, which houses local documents from the last 200 years.
We're all used to just getting online and Googling and finding things out. But in small towns like this, actually, there might be a wealth of information that's not online.
Look at this. Close encounters of the local kind. The Shenandoah Valley is no stranger to close encounters of the unexplained kind. At least 25 UFO sightings in the valley between November 1964 and January 1965 were investigated by the Air Force.
25 sightings between 64 and 65.
Yeah, so in that one, essentially a year time span.
Wow, take a look at this one. 7 high school students and a school bus driver have reported sighting a shapeless white object in the sky north of Waynesboro. It appears that there's been decades of sightings here in Waynesboro. Look at this one, local gunsmith encounters UFO.
While searching the Waynesboro archive, Nick and Sarah uncovered one of the first reported UFO sightings in the town's history.
Hi, Sarah Critters, nice to meet you. We tracked down this guy, David Chisholm, who saw a UFO sighting here back in 1950. Can you take us back to that day?
I looked up against the mountain and I saw something very silver. It was flying slowly and it didn't have any wings. When I saw what it was, it shocked me. It circled twice. And then after that, it turned on its edge and it left here warp speed, fast.
There have been a number of sightings in this area, particularly around the mountains. His story fits in with the other reports that we've been able to unearth. Something's going on here.
I'm surprised there's just so many in this small area, too. I mean, this is not a heavily populated area now, especially back in, the 60s.
So what I recommend we do is you start going through all these articles again deliberately and start plotting them and seeing if we can develop a pattern. Cool?
Okay, cool.
All right. Yeah, let's just start with these.
It says it was 1965.
1965.
Right. Just east of Stanton.
Near Waynesboro.
Hovering orange and blue ball in the night sky. And this is March 1988. The object whizzed away to the northwest.
So that has to be the Shenandoah to the west of Waynesboro. We have these clusters of sightings between Waynesboro and Stanton, right, all along 250.
Plotting them on the map, the data points point in one direction, and that's a northwesterly direction towards the mountains.
I can say with a high degree of confidence that we need to investigate these mountains in the Shenandoah northwest of Waynesboro further.
Then let's do it. This is a huge area.
The team arrives at the section of the Shenandoah Mountains, located northwest of Waynesboro.
Actually, it's right up here. We'll just pull over and take a look. Shall we? See that big gray area right through the trees? Can't really see with the trees. It'd be nice to be able to get to a higher elevation so we have a better line of sight on it. Back in my time in the Marine Corps in the mountains of Afghanistan, we would use drones a lot. Great tool when you have a large area like this, when you're not quite sure what you're working with.
They will focus their aerial recon on a 5-square-mile search grid of the Shenandoah Mountains, where hundreds of UFO sightings over the last 5 decades have been clustered.
Let's do it. Right now, we're just getting a high-altitude look down to see if anything initially pops up at us. And then we'll start searching grid by grid here. So far, it looks like we have some trails, but I mean, the trees are just so closely packed, it's just like a blanket of gray. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything. I'm gonna go ahead and switch into thermal.
The team utilizes the drone's thermal sensor, which can identify anomalies through minute variations in temperature.
Hey, wait, this is interesting. Look at that, there's a little signature there. I mean, that's odd.
Like a 30 to 40 degree temperature difference if you look at the gradient, see?
Yeah, wait, hold on, look at that. Look, there's more. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Almost looks like it's maybe emanating from something, but I just can't tell. And there's nothing visibly that would explain that. I'm not quite sure what's causing these heat anomalies. But we have this cluster, they're 40 degrees warmer than the surrounding areas. We need to understand what's going on here because this could be why this is such a hot spot for these unusual sightings.
Armed with climbing gear, the team heads to the location of these visual anomalies.
I think we're going to lose light before we get there.
Yeah.
I think we're close now. Nick, come this way.
What do you got?
It looks like
a
tunnel or a cave.
Look at that.
Can you turn the light down?
Yeah.
The team uncovers a 3-foot wide hole, which appears to be leading deep below the ground.
You know, we've had a cluster of sightings right around this mountain, and to have a cave system, you know, in that same area, that's pretty interesting. This is the most significant lead that we have. We've come this far, might as well get down there and go check it out.
And I agree, I think we've got no choice but to head in there right now.
A trail of evidence and sightings has led us from Florida to Waynesboro to the mouth of this cave. Would I prefer that it's daylight? Sure. But it doesn't matter what time we go in because it's always pitch black inside of a cave. And there is no way I'm not going in.
It gets really tight down here and it's pretty hot. Maybe that explains the temperature. I don't know what we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah, this is something else, huh?
Nick and Sarah reach a depth of 50 feet, where the passage narrows to only 20 inches high.
It just keeps getting smaller and tighter.
Are you good?
It's really slippy.
It's easy to get turned around in some of these cave systems that aren't well mapped out. It's dark. As you descend down, you can easily get turned around. You find yourself in this confined space. You're not sure if you're going to be able to make it through it. It's a stressful environment.
This is not easy.
Just take your time. In a situation like this where it's unknown, where this is new to both of us, and it's a bit claustrophobic and also disorienting, the big thing is if you ever start feeling a bit concerned or a little anxious, just to pause and take some deep breaths. Because the most important thing is just to have a deliberate plan, so everything we do is with intention.
The benefit of the military training, while we can't train to every situation, we do train to understand our emotional response and how we might respond to something. So regardless of the situation you're put in, you know, you just take a pause, take a deep breath, assess what you're doing, look around, you don't need to rush anything, form a plan, and then execute.
So this is just the tightest spot you're going through right now?
I'm a couple of feet behind you. This is really steep. What the hell is going on? Are we heading up this way or that way?
Let me go take a look.
What has a place like this got to do with the investigation? Why has everything led us here?
Whoa. Sarah, come check this out. This place is huge.
What is this? Can you see the stalactites up there? These literally take thousands of years to grow. It's like another world.
I'm surprised with all the debris that's on the side. There's a lot of loose rock. Even this is loose.
Here, let me get a picture.
Yeah, look at all that down there.
Oh, wow, look at this. Basic physics, basic science tells you that stalactite shouldn't be growing sideways because the way it's formed is almost like if you left the faucet on, that drip, 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 but of minerals, not of water. And what we're seeing here is the formation's horizontal. This just doesn't seem normal. You can see cracks here in the rocks. The fact we've got cracks and stalactites that should be on the ceilings, but they're on the side or on the ground. Something major's gone on here.
So these two boulders right here are pretty interesting. It doesn't look like they've been here for eons. It looks like they almost fell from the ceiling. I haven't seen anything like that in the cave before.
Here, you've got some still intact. And down that way as well in the distance, you can see stalactite intact there. And then down there, it looks like it's broken off.
This too, like here, sheer destruction, but this seems unfazed.
I'm not quite sure what could cause such a degree of a collapse in a cave system like this. And it's not the entire cave, it's one area. And then the rest of it is just this pristine, gorgeous cave complex.
Is the ground quite steady? There's so much rubble in here. It's all been severed off. But it's incredible to see so many of them snapped off. This was obviously a large piece, and there's just this complete clean break here. I wouldn't have liked to have been there when this stuff actually collapsed because obviously there's been a major disturbance. It's difficult to tell without looking at the bigger picture, without getting all the data together, exactly what happened here. So something caused this area to be disturbed and then other areas to remain completely intact. And that to me is extremely interesting.
This doesn't look like it naturally grew here, right? To me, it looks like this broke off from up there.
You know, I know that caves collapse The roof's fallen, but some of the rubble, it looks like it was blasted. It looks like there was explosions. I mean, there's a sheer volume of rock that fell.
Whatever's gone on here, it's pretty serious from the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a hard time fathoming what could possibly have caused this.
You know, maybe we're onto something big.
We got some photos from Sarah and Nick from the field. Can you pull those up?
On it.
The damage is pretty extensive.
It really is.
There was either a bomb went off in there or there was a major earthquake.
I can check the U.S. Geological Survey. They keep track of all that. There's a lot of earthquakes on the eastern seaboard. Small ones, usually kind of things that nobody notices. Check this out. 5.8 magnitude earthquake in central Virginia. Not gonna believe the date. 23rd of August, 2011. Same 24-hour period.
You gotta be kidding me.
5.8 earthquake. That's a really rare magnitude for this area. The biggest that had been hit in this area in 150 years. Tens of millions of people from Florida to Maine felt this thing. This is the earthquake that damaged the Washington Monument. We've got video from inside.
Look at that rubble coming down. This happened in the same 24-hour period as the cluster of sightings in Waynesboro. How is this connected, if it's connected, to what we've been seeing so far? Where did this earthquake originate?
Epicenter is Mineral, Virginia.
Where's that?
50 miles from Waynesboro.
50 miles from Waynesboro on
50
the
miles.
same 24-hour period. We have unexplained sounds that have never been heard before. Just miles away from an eyewitness seeing flaming orbs in the sky. We track sightings of those orbs up the coast to Waynesboro, Virginia, where there's a cluster of sightings, and that just so happens to be the epicenter of the most significant seismic event on the east coast of the United States. This is amazing. That's coincidence on top of coincidence on top of coincidence.
If this is a coincidence, it's a big coincidence.
We've potentially unlocked the first piece in a much bigger pattern, a whole new avenue of exploration that may be moving us closer to answering the question, have we made contact with extraterrestrials? What are we looking at here?
Next time on Contact.
400 earthquakes in 14 days in Mexico. Dozens of people claim to have seen an unidentified flying object.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Look how many there are.
These guys sound scared. There is something going on in the jungles of Rio Blanco.
He doesn't know what it is.
This substance known as star jelly.
This jelly is found in one specific area in the jungle.
Look at this.
Whoa.
This just blows my mind.
Dozens of people claim to have seen an unidentified flying object.
I think it's time to get a second team on the ground in Chile.
Claramente, nadie puede negar la existencia de fenómenos anómalos.
That's incredible.
Una que habla de que esto es un avión y otros que hablan de que es un fenómeno anómalo.
Colonel, does that look like a plane to you?